I want to give you one more hint about how design can actually help be more precise in building topics or getting notions more precise. What we need desperately in transformation design. And the basic operation is very simple. It's called draw a distinction. It goes back to George Spencer Brown, who was a British mathematician, and he gave us a whole book of laws of form in 1969. Draw a distinction is like the very basic operation, of course, not just for designers, but also for engineers or anybody concerned with planning, architects, urbanists, whatever. And this just means you divide the world, you know. You say, okay, this is, the world's never been the same ever after, you know, even with the clap, you know, you divide the world into a section that's before the clap and the other one is after the clap. And if you want to talk about, let's say, values and concerns and psychological qualities that we need to know in transformation design, you might come up with a notion like culture, all right? Or making the world a better place, human scale, human values. All these are notions pretty often used in social and transformation design, but it's not really clear what's meant about it. And one way to clarify is to come up with a difference. So if you just put something on the table and just say, this is it, then you can't really say anything about it, but you can say something about it if you have the contour and you say, okay, this is it and this is not it, right? So there's a difference right here. This is what a distinction is. And with the terms, it's the same thing. You can have culture as opposed to nature, probably. You can also have other terms here. And what you create is an inside and an outside. It's not just like something you can walk around or so. And so you need another mark here, so this really is an inside. This is the thing we talk about, or this is the thing we can get our hands on, this is our point of interest, and this is not. It's just like a positive, negative thing. Of course, you can also make it the other way around and say, okay, nature is the thing, you know, and culture is the most difficult or whatever, untouchable concept. It gives you another way of talking and positioning yourselves, because it's a machine to raise certain questions. There's one more thing about it, if you want to try it out in your respective fields, and that is this very concept of drawing a distinction. Where does it belong to? Is it a third ground? Because here we have 1 and 2, and this would be the third. Or is it as a gesture and as a process, as a method, is it part of any of those? For example, in culture, you might say, yeah, it's a cultural operation, and so there's a re-entry. This is signified by this sign here. Yeah? So you can easily say, okay, there's a distinction, but there's another distinction which goes even beyond it, and it claims that the excluded is also part of the included. So we call this a re-entry. This might seem very abstract at first because this comes from the mathematical discipline of logic, but it's very usable in fact. If you come up with design questions, try to get into it. For example, human-centered design. What kind of notion of human are you talking about? Human as opposed to what? To nature, or to bestiality, or to animals, or to soul, or whatever. You know, you can try this out and maybe get a more precise way of talking with your peers if you draw a distinction. And I think this is a basic operation that designers should be aware of.